Good morning, everyone. I'm Arun, the Chief Growth Officer at Freshworks. I'll be your host and moderator session. My guest today is Ajey Gore. Ajey is an operating partner technology with Sequoia Capital based in Singapore. He works closely with Sequoia India and Southeast Asia's portfolio, CTOs and CPOs, to provide insight and expertise in building and scaling engineering, data science, product and design functions, and helps them build and mentor high-performing teams across Southeast Asia. Prior to joining Sequoia, Ajey was the group CTO of Gojek. Ajey earlier founded Code Ignition, which was acquired by Gojek. He has also served as a CTO for Hopper, which was acquired by Hike Messenger, and was previously head of technology for ThoughtWorks. Hello, Ajey, and welcome to the second edition of the Experience Next Summit.
Thank you, Arun. It's great to be here again. And I was thinking the topic, and if you look at the topic, it's pretty important, and it has recently gained a way more importance than earlier, and companies are chasing towards it. So yeah, let's talk about it.
Great. On that note, our topic for today is empathy as a lever to unlock customer love. And like Ajey said, it's a very important topic in today's world, especially in the post-pandemic world. The question I would really want to start with is, what does customer empathy really mean? And given your vantage point at Sequoia and working closely with companies across APAC, what does this really mean for companies in the region? Maybe we can start with that first.
Wow, okay. Customer empathy, in a very simplistic way, it's same as being empathetic, right? In this case, your customers, and the ability to understand their problems in real world and their problems while using your products. So that's what customer empathy is. Actually, in fact, I was reading something a while back that how customers are driving change in Southeast Asia. And one of the things which came across was 60% of millennials, 50 to 60% of millennials prefer used goods over the new ones. Now, given that, it was published in one of the Google's report, and given that, this is they call half online millennial, Gen Z, right? What that created a huge opportunity for selling and buying used goods e-commerce, right? If you call it like that. And so they actually closed this report saying, by thanks to consumers' growing desire for re-commerce, not e-commerce, and sustainability, APAC is now becoming the second largest market. We have a lot of population living over here. Another example, if you think from India perspective, you can think of is Netflix. When they came in and what they are right now, they kind of became empathetic customers, say not everybody wants to consume English content. Let's bring in some local content, and they started doing that, right? So it's my view, it's more about caring how they feel and what they experience to make it better. And last, in terms of telling about companies, providing a quick avenue for customers to talk is one of the most empathetic way you can express your intention towards customers. So when I was at Gojek, I think we were the first company in Southeast Asia to start with call center. And they still do that. They still have a call center, right? So we never automated. They still provide a way for you to talk to customer support and try to resolve the complaints there. And if we provide this kind of support and really mean that we are here for you, and that's what customer empathy really, really means. And that's what people should do. That's what companies should do.
Fantastic. And when it comes to customer empathy, there is always this struggle that most companies have, which is around how do I strike the right balance, between delighting my customers versus delivering a consistently good experience. In fact, we had done a research survey very recently, which is called the New Rules of Customer Engagement, and I would encourage everyone who have joined this event to go and check it out, where 56% of consumers that we surveyed said that they will stop doing business with a brand after a single bad experience, right? And while delivering good experience delivering great customer satisfaction is considered to be hygiene, a must-have for businesses, we all recognize that there is also an underlying opportunity cost when one tries to deliver delight at every stage in the customer lifecycle, right? And if you could draw some references from your Gojek days given that this is a company that has been involved in ordering food, commuting, digital payments, shopping, hyper-local delivery, a wide variety of services. How did you maintain customer loyalty, and how did you walk this line between customer delight and sustainable growth?
Look, today, like few months, few years, or maybe few decades back, consumers did not have, say, options of like choosing multiple different kind of suppliers for their services. I do not want to comment on it, but like let's talk about India before privatization and after nationalization, right?
Yeah.
And what happened, and the liberation in 1991 brought very good experience to all of us because we had more avenues. And I don't have a long-term view on what privatization will do and what nationalization did, but having more people allows you to be competitive and always delight the customers. You kind of get into competition and you kind of make it better. But to drive the point home, customer experience is about shifting your thought process. So we used to say like what we can do for consumer. All of us product companies say what we can do for consumer. Instead of that, we just say, what can we do for you? Instead from saying, what do we do for you, but towards what can we do for you? When you think in terms of what can we do for you, you're bringing empathy as one of the most powerful tool and thought process, correct? And once you do that, then we are able to do many, many things. Can we do transport? Can we do food for you? Can we book tickets for you? Can we allow you, can we do some payments for you, right? And then if you look towards product, we can then ask questions around like, one of the things which always comes to my mind is like, can we get you a right pickup points? So we were operating motorcycles and cars both. Many buildings complexes don't allow they have different pickup point for motorcycles and different pickup point for cars. Now all the right apps do that, but what we did, when you are choosing motorcycle, we actually allow you to choose which pickup point do you want to get picked up from, which is nearest. And the way we did it was we looked at how many customers are walking somewhere, like they put a pickup point, and when they got really picked up, what is the difference between their pickup point and real pickup point? Then we realized over the period of time and through machines that this is not the real pickup point, it's just a POI or address point on map. But the real pickup point can be like 100 meter, 50 meter, 200 meters. And that is one thing which we did. And we are still doing that. So it's called point of interest, POI. So POI improvement in transport was one of the good things where we delighted our customers with a better experience, right? By providing automatic pickup point. Also, on top of it, what you can do is, with the way you can delight your customer, is you can provide, a lot of ride-sharing companies do that now, is provide the automatic destinations. So if you're at home in the morning, I tell you the office. If you are in office in the morning, I tell you home on the app, right? But if you're on weekend, I don't show you many things, right? So guessing the consumer intent, like this is what my wish, and this is what maybe this was your wish was, and this your wish is my command kind of thing, right? So that is on, like, say that is on the transport. On the food, what we did was we kind of allowed them to. What are you looking for when you say when you search for fried rice? What kind of which kind of person you are? What kind of rice you have ordered in past? Do you want Chinese fried rice, or do you want biryani, or you want like nasi goreng, which is like Indonesian fried rice, or you want something else, right? That is another thing. Like guessing the customer intent is something which we did, and search experience in food app became really good. But on top of it, at app level, if you look at this, we have Gojek is like super app, and they have more than like 16 products, right? They shut down a few products recently because of pandemic and all this stuff. But at one point of time, we had 18 products. Then finding appropriate product according to consumer needs is also super important. So we can't show the like 18 icons. So what we did, we not only showed top few icons which are being used, but also shown some cards or choices. Like you can do this, you can do this, you can do this. So we provided them avenues to do things, and that was good experience for the consumers. Like basically, if they go to, say, one of the things around payments we did, that if they go to a mall, we tell them what all offers are available nearby and where all you can pay using GoPay. And that's the easiest thing, right? So people, instead of we go and go to every shop in the mall and figure out what should we have, what should we not have, it's all there. So basically, what can we do for you is one of those things which kind of change a lot of things for us, right? And these are a few examples, and we did many things. We actually wrote our research team wrote a blog post about consumer empathy as well. So we can talk about that later.
Wow, fantastic examples. And I think you really crystallized it. What can we really do for you? I think that's where the journey towards becoming an empathetic company really begins. And that brings me to the next question, Ajay. I think empathy is often, I think at the leadership level, it's well acknowledged as one of the most important things or critical drivers for success. But as you want to percolate the culture downwards, how do you make empathy central to your company culture? And I know there are different companies taking different stabs at it. I know, for instance, Facebook set up something called as the Empathy Lab, where they actually provide the platform for their engineers to experience what and how their customers are actually using their products, and use that understanding to build better products, right? And there is a company empathy index that is being published by the likes of Harvard Business Reviews, and all Facebook, Google, and some of these companies top that list every single time. So in your experience, what role does a CIO or a CTO really play in making empathy a centerpiece of your company culture?
For us, it was very different. We did not create an empathy lab, but we kind of enforced the empathy lab. So we have teams like, I shouldn't say we, but let's say Gojek. I'm still used to say I've been there for 5 years, right? So not easy. Gojek, in early days, we had office in Jakarta and Bangalore. Now, how do you tell somebody who's sitting in Bangalore what they're working on? They're like so far away, like they can't even see what is going on, right?
Yeah.
And even in product in Jakarta also, how do you tell people what are we solving for? So what we did, we kind of forced the empathy on people. And the way we did was like, we made sure that everybody, it was not a rule, but it was a kind of unspoken rule, that everybody within 1 month, within 3 months of joining, travels to Jakarta. And if they're in Jakarta, then they actually go to driver care unit and customer care unit and spend a week there, including me. And then you come to know about the insights, like what our driver partners are bothered about, right? What our customers are really complaining about, like what things you think very small and very simple are really magnanimous for people. I'll give you an example. I had a PM, and she was working on GoPay payments thing, and we were working on something called cashless withdrawal. Cardless withdrawal, not cashless withdrawal, cardless withdrawal. What happens is our drivers, when they earn money, their money goes to their GoPay wallet, and then they request for withdrawal to their bank account, and then they can actually withdraw the money. And we can give them, everybody, we kind of give them a credit card and all stuff. But when you have 1 million driver, bringing them on board, and when you're signing up so many drivers every day, it's super difficult. So one of the things which we realized that if we can solve this problem somehow virtually, so why can we use their driver app itself as ATM card? So we talked to one of our bank partners, and we actually allowed this. So they can do cardless withdrawal. That means they can go to ATM, enter something on the ATM, enter something on their phone, and the money will come out. And there's a video about that, I think Impact at Scale series we did long back. And there's a video about this specific story. And what happened when we allowed this, drivers went and thanked that PM. And she was literally very emotional about it. And the only way we could have been able to do is by understanding what their real pain is. So one of the things which happens is a lot of time, the people who are working on the product, they are very far away from the product. Another thing which we did, whenever anybody goes to Jakarta from India or Singapore, from product engineering team, we made sure that they are staying away from office like 1 or 2 kilometers. So they can still take Gojek to office and be there in like 5-10 minutes. They don't have to do a 45 minutes long motorcycle ride. But then they are like all this POI idea, which I talked about earlier, came from all this stuff. Like people, like when people are using it every day, then you have a lot of and from product point of view, it might be a big deal. But when engineer thinks about it or PM thinks about it, like, yeah, this is easy. We can fix it, and it's like small annoyance, and it can bring amazing experience to our customers. Why not do that? Why not? So our Go Shop app, we allowed even our food app, we allowed the free flow comments from the day one. You can order things which are off menu because you know that restaurant serves this. So I'll tell you, I used to order this khichdi from this one Indian restaurant, which was not on menu. I would always do a manual order. Okay, can you please give me khichdi? And the khichdi will come. So the thing is, how you can't do these things unless you are really day in and day out. So that what you say, living the dream, I say is also living the experience, in turn living the pain, and in turn living the happiness. that's what I would say, and that's what we made sure that everybody goes through these three phases. So live the experience. Some of it is good experience, some of it is bad experience, right? Then they live the pain because now they're stuck there for like a month and they're dealing with it, and they fix it and then they live in happiness.
Amazing.
So I would say that.
No, really inspiring anecdotes and stories, Ajay. And I think it reminds me of a completely different example of how FMCG companies make their management trainees go through the grueling market visit, where mandatorily they spend about 3 to 6 months, right? And that's how a lot of marketers or brand managers even today, right? A lot of brand managers have to go through that experience before they start becoming brand managers. And it literally makes them live the experience and go through the pain before they actually start crafting a brand messaging. But that, when you apply to the technology world, can be transformational, because you're not only creating a marketing message, but you're actually building a product that can solve the problem right away. So it's phenomenal, and I really love the way you articulated how you guys did it at Gojek.
Actually, we did a little bit more than that. We actually made one of our PMs as the drivers on motorcycle. and one day what happened, he was very tired. So he canceled 3 orders back to back and he got banned. And he's like, I was really tired. I couldn't do it. And like this rule is really bad, that if you cancel 3 back to back like bookings, you will get banned for the whole day. It's really bad rule. We should do something about it. So that actually brought a very good experience. Like how many hours the driver is riding the bike or car. Is there a cool off period? We started introducing cool off period. We started saying, do you want to have a cool off period? You can have a cool off period. All that stuff, right? Like think about this, like a driver, there are a lot of drivers who want to go pray in afternoon. How do you take care of them? They are praying, so allow them to go switch off. So like these things, when you make people use it, also what happens is once you make people use your product, they find very strange and very interesting ways to actually improve the product as well. Not only fix the problems, but sometimes they will figure out such amazing ways to improve the product, which is like you will really love it. So those kind of things like kind of help. There's good ideas, real ideas, right?
Amazing. And I think we already talked about it, and obviously technology plays a huge role in building these great customer experiences and achieving that empathy at scale. And there are great examples. You cited many from your Gojek world. There are the likes of Maxis and Singtel, which are using in-store digital assistants to help their customers when they come to their stores. Union Bank in Philippines is driving mobile banking vans for a frictionless journey, and Domino's is also creating preemptive experiences based on historical store location and trends, etc. So, what is your advice to other CIOs or CTOs when they think about leveraging technology proactively to achieve empathy? And it's very clear that Gojek has already cracked it. So, but what would your advice to other startups and technology companies be?
Look, technology is the most effective and most powerful tool you have in your arsenal. Sometimes it's not the most important, but it's like but a lot of time it's the most effective and most powerful tool, right? Given where you are, right? Like for example, if you look at say any product, right? What is a product? Let me go back to that basic. What is a product? So any product which is successful has removed some friction from consumers' life, made their life easy. Let me put it that way. When say, I'll give you this example, like airlines ticket long back used to like 6 pages of printed thing. I don't know if you remember that or not. And changing airline ticket was pain, and then suddenly online airlines came and the friction went out, right? And then suddenly new airlines in India or everywhere else just picked up because the consumer experience, just that thing was delight, that you don't have to go to a travel agent and get that printed and all that stuff, right? It's a huge experience difference. So technology can do that. So whenever you have this thought process around what are we solving for, and as long as you're solving for product friction, then there are multiple avenues. Look, I'll tell you this: no product manager, no CTO, no CIO is ever happy with their product, because what happens is while and like somewhere inside whatever they say, somewhere inside they are not happy with their product because they already know what all things more can be done, right? So my view is that what can be done, what more can be done is a lot is possible through technology in much easier way than you think. And if you use the mobile ATMs and like a customer support, they're a very good example of it, right? And we should totally go towards and leverage it, because as much as you will, I always call it journey versus experience. So the journey, the consumer journey is made of multiple experiences. And if every experience gets better and better, the consumer is not going to leave you, right? If you do right by a customer, if you do like we did right by our drivers, like we said, we will never do something wrong by our drivers. We'll never do something wrong by consumers. They will never do something wrong with merchants. We'll do right by values, and that's also technology, right? Like we can like we will never do crazy surge pricing. We will never overcharge a specific brand of phone if you're using, correct? So those kind of things make sense, right? And that kind of, like in Gojek's case, that not only did right for us as well, it also had a very good side byproduct of it. It brought a very good social impact as well in Gojek, right? We kind of got listed twice as the companies which are bringing positive impact, and we are the only one company from Southeast Asia, right? We got mentioned at Bill and Melinda Gates annual newsletter, which is crazy, right? So given this, I think not only it will bring a social impact on anything, one of the biggest thing, it will bring a very positive impact on your consumers. So my view is to all CTOs, like you have to think through it, because you know the tool. Business people sometimes don't know the tool. If you tell them what is possible, it is like all this is about what is possible, right? And if you tell them if you show somebody what is possible, then people will just go crazy. Innovation will just happen. Happened with iPhone, happened with super app as a Gojek. When like a lot of people want to bring super apps now, which is crazy, right? So show the world, show the people what is possible, and people just do amazing stuff, that you pull off amazing things.
Great. And I think you have already shared some fantastic examples. But in your opinion, what does the future of CX look like, right? And everyone is talking about not just solving for a customer problem, but also understanding what customers want and the importance of predictive insights in being able to deliver great customer experiences and empathy. So where do you see the market heading, and what are some of the key trends that you see that are shaping this space?
So one of the like moonshot idea, which I don't know when we'll achieve it. They're still working on it, and that's what drives the customer empathy. The moonshot idea is that you're solving for the one. You are not solving for everyone. While you're serving everyone, you're solving for the one. That means you should be able to do customer segmentation, not because you're solving for masses, but you should go more deep down and figure out what is this person know, right? What does this person need? What does this person want? And as closer you get to guess the intent or do the intent what consumer wants, things will change dramatically, right? We have seen a lot of applications. We don't have to take names, but we have seen a lot of applications when people actually talk about those applications, say, this is a good hallmark application in this area. This is good banking application. This is good credit card application. This is good movie experience. What is that? Like they're also movie booking tickets, or they're also getting you something, right? But why that is good? Because they're solving for the one. And you start from like mass, then you go to group, then you go to like a smaller group, and then you go to one. So you have to always keep doing this funnel down. And that's what makes the very important, aspect about CX, right? And it was earlier, it was user interface design. From there, it became user experience. Now it's coming to like going toward UXD and CXD, right? Consumer experience design, which is more around you keep talking to people again and again, figure out what their problem is, and then go towards that solving for the one thought process. And that will help us a lot. Because, one of the things which I found very, very, very amazing, like nowadays, like consumers are not in one group. Actually, they are like kind of that, what is that Venn diagram? Like they mix in multiple groups. So you need to figure out. So you not only that it's just one demographic is not the only one segmentation criteria. Now it is time and place and area and locality and who are you with, all that stuff, right?
Yep.
For example, if I know that you always order, almost always, like I gave this example to somebody saying one of the good use case for Gojek is to figure out at some point of time that when you are getting out of the office at Friday evening, we tell you which mall do you want to go, because we know what movie you have watched last time or last few times or every alternate week. So what kind of movie you need. So we need to figure out what movie is running in which theater in which mall, and we allow you that destination. So you'll be happy. Once you go there, we already give you option that shall we book 2 tickets for you, and when you're coming back, we already show you option that you want to have go-kart, so you can come back together as a friends. And then while you're going on the way, we show you option of what you want to order, and these are the few items you can order. And that is like we solved for the one, right? And that's a quest we always thought about it. So I think I don't know, I get really happy and emotional about this, but this is what epitome of solving for one and consumer empathy can be.
No, I think your passion for solving for customer empathy and solving for the end customer is infectious, and I just hope that our audience here takes away some good nuggets of wisdom from this conversation. And one last question I have, Ajey, is given we have spoken at length about why empathy is important, how we should leverage technology to bring empathy to the forefront. How is it that companies can keep a tab on whether they're not doing well on empathy or not? And both internally as well as externally, right? From a customer standpoint, but also is this a culturally well-aligned mandate internally within the organization? And of course, rhetorically, if you were to ask, do you see the need for a chief empathy officer of sorts in the future? Or do we think that everybody needs to be a chief empathy officer? What's your take?
I think everybody needs to be chief empathy officer. You can't, virtue is very tough to impose, right? Virtue is very infectious. And if you can, good virtues are very, very infectious, right? So, and empathy, the good thing about empathy is that it can be learned by Empathy Lab or putting people in customer care. Or by making sure that they use your product in odd hours.
Live their pain.
Live their pain, like live the experience, then live the pain, and then live happiness, right? I told you already that those 3 things. So I think I don't, if a need of chief empathy officer is there, then there's something wrong. I totally believe it, because I think it comes from 3. It is a mix of 3 things. One is the product engineering, second is the research, and third is a interaction design, right? IXP. So if you bring these 2 together and people experience it, then the empathy will be there. Second thing, the way you can keep track of empathy is by understanding how much people are using your product and how many of time people are talking about your product in cafeterias, in general catch up, in town halls. It has, like, your product has to be your vision and strategy, right? That's what it is. We were having a conversation with Simon Sinek a few days back, and one of the things he said, like, we know what CTO means, we know what CMO means, but we don't know what CEO, what is Chief Executive Officer. He should be like Chief Vision Officer, right? Something like that. And the same way, I think, like, I don't think there is Chief Empathy Officer, but what I really see is the CEO or Chief Vision Officer puts those values, tells people about them, tell them what we live by. Like, we'll never, like, simple thing, we'll never do wrong by driver. It's very simple stuff, right? There is something called, and that's what, like, will the customer be happy? Is this easy on customer? How difficult this is for a customer? How easily it is searchable for, if you build a feature, how easily it's discoverable? Those are the questions you can ask, right? And the only way you can ask those questions by experiencing them yourself. So I think the product users and the way people talk about the product is a good indicator of what is going on in the company. Else, you need to do something about it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you said it right? Empathy is everyone's mandate. And I think everyone needs to be a Chief Empathy Officer. So great. Ajey, it's been a real pleasure chatting with you on this topic. And I think, like I said, the passion that you exude in your responses just gives away a lot of inspiration for folks who are watching this event. And there are also great nuggets of wisdom out there and ideas to thoughtfully create those great experiences for customers. So thanks once again for taking the time out and joining us for this event. Always a pleasure.
Thank you. Thanks a lot for actually hosting me. And I don't know, like, time flew past very fast. So again, thank you. And thank you, Freshworks, for actually inviting me. This was a great pleasure. It was my pleasure to talk to you as well, Arun.
Fantastic. Great. Thanks. Thanks, everyone.